to the SnailTrail4x4 podcast. If you like going off-roading in Toyotas, wrenching on Toyotas, camping in Toyotas, and maybe even poking a little bit of fun at Toyotas, and of course, hearing about how fantastic some iconic trails are in Toyotas, then this is the podcast for you. That's right, ladies and gents. My name is Tyler, and joining me for another episode is Jimmy Jet. Jimmy, how are you, buddy?
I am good. Thanks for asking. How are you?
Doing pretty well.
Good.
Yeah.
Glad to hear
I
it.
feel like I'm having deja vu right now.
Right? It's a little weird.
It's a weird concept. Oh, man. Happy Monday to everybody out there. Hopefully everybody had a phenomenal weekend. What did you get to go out and do?
This weekend, I was out camping.
Nice.
Yeah, with the assistant's family.
That's the in-laws, huh?
Yeah.
That sounds
I guess
fun,
it's the in-laws.
I guess. That's exciting.
Is it
Is it?
technically the in-laws? I guess it is.
Okay.
It's the assistant's dad.
Yeah, that would be an in-law.
Yeah. But I don't know. I'm overthinking it again. The dad and the mom were never married, but I guess it would still be an in-law.
Yeah. Step-in-law then would be the mom.
Well, yes.
Stepmother-in-law.
Yes. It is
or the lady, the wife.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's a step. Yeah, it's a step also for the assistant.
Yes, correct. Yeah, so you're double step squared.
Mm-hmm.
Step squared mother-in-law.
Yes.
Square step? I don't know what that would be. Anyways.
Yeah, moving on from that.
We have not actually gone camping yet because of Time Travel Land. But episode is coming out on Monday for everybody.
Yeah.
Which means we have a fun topic. We are continuing our trail highlight series. So we're going to do a twofer today.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of people, these trails are close enough to each other that I think a lot of people end up doing both of them for a weekend kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. They're two smaller trails.
Yeah.
And they're really kind of more, for the most part, they end and start almost at the same spot.
Pretty much. Yeah.
And so you can definitely run both of them in a weekend.
Yeah, for sure.
So we're going to run it in an episode.
Sweet. I like it. Before we get there, though, we have a lot of stuff going on this month.
We do.
This is Tool Month with Walter Surface Technologies. Thank you very much, Walter, for working with us and doing some really cool stuff for the listeners. The giveaway for the Railmate is closed. And guess what? Guess who won?
Tyler
won. Yay.
Wow.
We don't even need to do a drawing. That was amazing. Now we're going to do the drawing. We'll announce that winner on Thursday of this week here. We will also do FNGs and all that good stuff. Birthdays, Air Hub giveaway. So we're going to have a lot of announcements on Thursday's episode this week. So pay attention. We're going to have a lot of winners. We might be at 650 reviews as well. I know we were like 3 away or something like that.
I'm guessing we are.
So we might be doing a giveaway for that as well, for an Onyx Elite membership and a SnailTrail4x4 swag pack. So yeah, a lot of stuff, a lot of announcements coming up on Thursday for winners. This week, though, if you guys have not already checked out social media, go look at SnailTrail4x4 on Instagram. There is a trivia question. Should we say what the trivia is here or make people go there?
I mean, I guess we could say it. I don't know if like the verbiage is going to be identical.
True.
We'll see how it goes, but it'll be something along the lines of guess how many varieties of tools or product SKUs. Guess the variety of product SKUs that Walter Surface Technology has.
Yep. How many product SKUs do they have to offer? It's a lot. So yeah, it's a big number. That's all we can tell you.
More than snail armor.
Yeah. That's fair. It's more than MORRFlate too combined. It's more than MORRFlate snail armor combined.
Absolutely. And SnailTrail4x4.
Yeah. So it's a big number. That's one of the reasons why I went with that one, but it's actually pretty impressive. I didn't realize they had that many.
Yeah.
It was kind of eye-opening when Corey told us how many product SKUs Walter offers. And I was like, no shit.
Right.
That's like, a lot.
I thought it was just grinding discs.
Yeah,
they have others.
Yeah. Man. So anyways, that's trivia for everybody. The person kind of, I don't say prices. I almost said Price is Right rule.
5 winners for this one. Yeah, I would say Price is Right rule.
So if you go over, doesn't count?
Yeah. Why
okay,
not?
you have to stay under the
Yeah.
number? Okay.
Let's do Price is Right rules.
All right, Price is Right rules. 5 closest winners.
5 closest.
Under. So if you get it dead on or under, that means if they get it dead on, they win $1,000 too.
Sure.
Sure.
It's good luck on that happening.
Yeah. Someone's going to get it. We're going to have to shell out $1,000.
Yeah. It'll be lawless, Corey.
Corey, guess what? Man. Yeah. So trivia going on. SnailTrail4x4 on Instagram. Just leave a comment on that post with what you think the answer is.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're going to win. We have 5 winners, and the winners are going to win a variety of consumables. I'll just leave it there.
Yeah.
You're going to win some cutoff discs, grinding wheels, flapper discs, all different types of stuff.
It's going to be, I think we valued it out and it was close to around $500 per person.
Oh yeah. Maybe I don't remember.
Per person.
And probably I think everybody is going to get randomly a set of drill bits. We'll see what actually becomes of that. I think that they might be throwing in drill bits just for the fun of it. But it's going to be interesting. We're going to see what becomes of that. So but what I know you're going to get, at least from SnailTrail4x4, I don't know if what Walter's doing over there, but you're going to get a variety of grinding consumables. So that'll be fun. So yeah, go over there, check out the post, make a comment, follow SnailTrail4x4, follow Walter Surface Technologies.
Yep.
All that information's in the show notes and on the post.
I was just looking it up because I had a brilliant thought.
Oh.
I was like, I wonder if AI knows this answer.
Okay.
So I just asked AI and it doesn't know the answer. So,
perfect.
Yeah, we're good. I think we're good.
All right.
Yeah, so that's cool. We got more giveaways going on for the rest of the month. So make sure you're checking back on Monday's episodes. That's when we are announcing what the giveaway is. And it's mostly all to do on social media. So you get to learn about it here on the podcast. The actions that you're going to have to do are over on the SnailTrail4x4 Instagram account.
Yes.
So be paying attention to both of those channels on Mondays, because that's when all the action happens.
Yeah. This is number 2 of 4 giveaways that we got going on this month. So keep your ears open and your eyes open, and hope you win something.
Yeah. And then we have the monthly giveaway, which is for the mag drill.
Yeah, dude.
Oh, I'm so excited.
I want one.
Tyler's going to win that one too already. We already figured that out. That's
all right. Then I get the set of tires.
Okay.
Yes.
That's fine.
I have more vehicles than you have.
That is true. I'm collecting tires though in the warehouse.
I know.
Oh, it's funny. All right. So that's the giveaway stuff. We do have the set of tires that we're giving away for reviews. We already talked a little bit about 650 reviews. We're doing a swag packet Onyx Elite membership at 700 reviews is the same thing. And then 750 reviews. Once you reach that, we're doing a drawing for a set of Yokohama tires, pretty much whatever you want, 20-inch, less than 20-inch rim and DOT compounds. And it's really from everybody who had left one of those 750 reviews.
Yeah.
So if you can find a way to leave more than one review, go for it. You increase your chances of winning.
Sounds good.
Sweet. Did we get through housekeeping that quickly?
I think so.
Sweet.
Wow.
It's almost like we've done this before.
Right? It's still 10 minutes in, more or less.
Don't tell people the time. Then they can just fast forward next time.
Oh, sorry.
We're only 2.5
30 seconds.
Anyways, let's get over to today's campfire discussion. Like I said, we're continuing on the trail highlights, and today we get to talk about Power Tank's favorite trail, Slick Rock, and Deer Valley. So we'll be right on back. Grab your favorite drinks, grab your favorite flavor of popcorn, and we'll be right on back to talk about a couple trails with you guys today.
The 4-Wheel Underground website just got an upgrade. Come on by and check out the new functionality, new photos, and new pricing. Finally works on mobile too. Visit 4wheelunderground.com and find your new suspension today.
Welcome back, ladies and gentleladies, to today's campfire discussion. Hopefully everybody got their campfire permit so that they can have the campfire discussion today. All you need to do is go to the U.S. Forest Service website, and there is links there to go ahead and get your fire permits.
Is that a California only rule?
I don't know, because it's a National Forest Service website thing. So I don't know if it's, I would imagine it goes for all forests because it's federal, but I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a good question.
I'm assuming that the national forests aren't as big in other states.
That's a good question. I don't know. I know that there's national forests in, I think, every state.
I'm sure there is. But you got like 1 acre of it in, Arizona.
Yeah. I don't know.
Or something,
That's a good question. I don't know.
Yeah. I have no idea either.
Someone who does know, call in to our snail mail hotline. That's 916-345-4744 and educate us. We must know because we want to get the right information out for people. Today's topic, though, is on Rock and Dick Valley.
Slip Valley.
Oh, man.
Slick Rock and Deer Valley. I got it.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, no problem.
Why don't you take this over?
Okay. Yeah, we're talking about some fantastic trails in Northern California, but sort of a little lower in Northern California, below Sacramento, but still above Fresno area, above the middle of the California.
The armpit.
Yep, the armpit area. Slick Rock and Deer Valley. Slick Rock is off of Highway 4, right?
Correct.
And then Deer Valley's off 108?
Nope, Highway 4.
Highway 4 off.
Yep.
What's the other end off of?
Deer Valley is off of 88.
88.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, because I know Slick Rock, what it does is it kind of loops around from 4 to 4.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's a start or end point on Deer Valley on Highway 4 too, not terribly far from the end of the Slick Rock Trail.
Just over Ebbets Pass.
Exactly. And then, but Deer Valley goes from Highway 4 to 88.
Correct. Yep.
Okay. Cool. So yeah, they're below Tahoe, below Sacramento kind of line. Still Northern California, still up in the Sierra Nevadas, and just an absolute gorgeous, beautiful area to be in. Still Sierra Nevada forest, conifer trees, pine trees, some oak trees, and a lot of granite. Yep.
Yeah, a lot of granite. It's a really cool. I would argue there's a lot of granite on Slick Rock. Deer Valley doesn't have as much granite, though.
No, it's more of
it's like a forest
dusty road. Yeah.
Both. Let's start with Slick Rock.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I don't know, for some reason people typically start with Slick Rock, and then because they like to go up Deer Valley, I think.
Sure.
It's in my opinion more fun to go up Deer Valley, but let's start with Slick Rock. It's a Highway 4.
Let's go up the gauntlet. Let's go that direction on
up
Slick
the gauntlet.
Rock.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. So that means you're starting at the southern end, which is Utica and Spicer Reservoir.
Right.
The main turnoff of Highway 4 is called the Spicer Snow Park, Spicer Recreation parking area.
Okay.
It's a ginormous kind of parking lot where you can park trailered rigs if it's open. And then you can drive, I don't know, I think it's like 10 miles.
Wow.
It's a
dirt road.
It's a paved road for most of it.
Oh, okay.
In from that turnoff into Utica Reservoir. And then at Utica is kind of where the trailhead for Slick Rock starts. You can start the prepping area, right?
Okay.
And then it goes from there up north and kind of winds through the forest, has some fun obstacles on granite, and a couple little minor creek crossings. And then you get to the gauntlet and then up and out at the top of the pass there for Highway 4, pretty much up near Ebbets Pass, and Alpine Lake up there.
Okay.
So some highlights for Slick Rock. In my opinion, this trail is awesome because it's such a short trail. And
it's
I think
a lot packed into that trail, though.
Exactly. It's a short trail, but there's a lot to do. I've done that trail in 30 minutes before.
What?
Yeah. We went from south to the top, and then half of the group wanted to drive back down Highway 4 to get back to the lodge we were staying at. And the other part of the group was like, no, screw that. We want to go back down the trail.
Yeah.
So we decided to race the people going down the highway to see if we could beat them back to the lodge.
Oh my gosh. I would have died.
And I did it in the Leaf Springs on the Forerunner.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Toyota axles. So it was a rough trip, but it was doable. I don't recommend doing it that way. It's not a good way to do that trail. You don't enjoy it at all.
Anyway.
It's not fun. Yeah. But it's a shorter trail. There are a lot of obstacles in the trail, a lot of things to do, a lot of kind of places to stop and check out. There's a couple phenomenal camping spots, but you start kind of dropping into this really narrow crevasse.
Okay.
At Utica side. And then you kind of have to do this really tight turn up through some trees, like this almost hairpin turn through some between trees. And then you pop out at the first kind of camping area in the bridge.
Oh, got it.
Mm-hmm. And that place is really cool.
Yeah.
Neat little camping spot. You're right on a creek. And so you can camp there, hang out in the water. You can stop for lunch if you're there at that time of day. Really neat spot just to lounge around for a few hours for a weekend, whatever it is. And then from there, you kind of start going up and you kind of hit the first big obstacle. And it's, I don't know how to describe it. It's a couple big rocks with a big ledge.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a few options on that area. But I think most people kind of drop off. I'm going to say when you're going down the trail, it's probably the more left line.
Yeah.
And it's a drop, but you also have a turn, like sort of in the middle of it.
Yeah.
And there's like a drop and an S turn.
Yeah.
And
at the same time.
Yeah. I know the time that I did it, I think I did a 3-point turn.
Yeah. You're
in the middle of it, which was pretty crazy, but it was fun. It's daunting to look at. It wasn't nearly as bad to drive through.
There's really good traction right there. So yeah, you look at it and you're like, what? Especially if it's
not sure if I want to do that.
It's not a super difficult trail, and it's not supposed to be a really difficult trail. So a lot of times people are on it that are not frequenting Rubicon and Fordyce kind of thing, or Barrett Lake. They're looking for an easier trail to do.
Okay.
But you approach and you see this obstacle and you're like, as the first thing of the day.
Sure.
It can be a little daunting sometimes.
Yeah. If Fordyce is 10 and like a fire road or, a paved road is number 1, what would you rank Slick Rock?
I would rank Slick Rock. That's tough because of the gauntlet.
Okay. Excluding the gauntlet.
Excluding the gauntlet, I would put Slick Rock at a 6.
At a 6? And
6
then
and a
with
half.
the gauntlet? Or
with the gauntlet?
Or the gauntlet?
I would put the gauntlet at like an 8 or a 9.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And the problem with that right now is the gauntlet does not have a bypass.
Yes. It's supposed to, or it's going to.
It's going to. They're working on one, but it doesn't have one yet. And so in my opinion, the whole Slick Rock Trail should be rated like an 8 or a 9 because there's no bypass for the gauntlet. Now the gauntlet is at one end of the trail. So you can run the trail the way we're talking about it right now, get to the gauntlet, turn around and go back out Utica Reservoir. And you have a great day on a 6.5 rated trail.
Yeah.
But if you want to go all the way through to Alpine, you got to do the gauntlet, and it's a doozy.
Yeah. I was gonna guess that I would probably rate it at 5.
Okay,
but then 7 or 8 for that gauntlet for sure.
Yeah,
because it's definitely tough. It's doable. It's tough, but I mean, so what would you rate Fordyce if you excluded the bowl at 3 or the box
at 3?
Yeah.
So the way I like to rate trails is what is the easiest path through them.
Sure.
So you take all the legal bypasses. What is that trail rated at?
Okay.
And so I would put Fordyce at about a 9.5.
Okay.
If you want to take all the hard ones, then it's an 11.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Right.
It's up there on the Sand Hollow ratings scale.
Yeah, what makes Fordyce difficult, in my opinion, especially right now, because there's no bailout. So if you do, the other part of trail ratings is the risk of if you break, how hard is it going to be to get a vehicle out of there?
Sure.
And Slick Rock, I would argue, is fairly easy to get a vehicle out of.
Okay.
Unless you break it in the middle of the gauntlet, I guess, or something. But
if you break at the top of the gauntlet too, there's interesting spots after that.
Yeah.
Okay. So if the trail's somewhere between a 6 and an 8.
Yeah. Yep. So that's kind of that first spot, right? You come to it's daunting to look at if you're not used to rock crawling, but there's really good traction there. As long as you don't roll the vehicle, you're fine. You'll climb the ledge, no problem.
That's
it's
my
amazing.
answer for everything, by the way. As long as you don't roll, you're going to be all right.
except people roll when you're around.
No,
so
it's not my fault.
Lee wasn't around when I rolled.
Yes.
He wasn't there.
Well, why is it my fault that people are rolling?
Because you're there. I don't know. You're there all the time. You're the common denominator.
I wasn't even a part of Lee's roll. I was just behind him driving.
That's funny. Anyways, so yeah, just don't roll your vehicle as you're coming up that, which it's kind of hard to because you turn, and as you're turning, there's a big ass rock on your driver's side. And that's the way you're turning too. So it's going to keep you from rolling.
Yeah.
And I've never heard of a vehicle rolling there. But if you start working on that ledge, for some reason you can't get up and you hop around, I could see somebody rolling there, I guess.
Yeah. We're going up or down it?
Up the ledge.
Oh, we're at the beginning?
Yeah. Right after the bridge.
Right after the bridge.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I don't remember the ledge part.
Okay.
I just remember dropping down the ledges.
I think you're thinking about the staircase, the stair steps.
That's what I'm thinking about.
That's right after the ledges,
okay.
after that first ledge there. So yeah, the staircases though, that's kind of the main obstacle on Slick Rock other than the gauntlet. Okay. The staircases has two options, lots of different ways to go down that spot. I like to take the stair steps.
Yes.
But yeah, you're right. It does, as you're going down it, you are kind of turning, and then you kind of do this S turn around another big rock as you're coming down. Yeah.
That's what I remember. I remember dropping off and then having to drive as far forward as I can. But then when I reversed, I had to turn my front end into the direction that I needed to go.
Yeah.
Which was a hard passenger in this case. And then when I was going get my wheels straight or right at the end, turned hard driver so that I can continue to make the corner.
Yeah.
And then I had to do that again, dropping off the second ledge.
Yep.
Or the second stairs.
Yep.
Yeah, because it's a tight turn right in there.
It is. And if you have a long wheelbase, like a mini truck, Tacoma, something like that, you are high chance of body damage, or Austin Powers turning it through there.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good
That's
rock sliders.
Yeah. That's a fun spot. It's a lot of fun coming up that too.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah. But going down it, not too bad. You just kind of let gravity take you and hopefully you can make the S's.
Just don't roll.
Yeah. Just don't roll. That's the answer to all the wheeling problems. So yeah, that's the stair steps. Right after the stair steps is, a little creek crossing, a little river crossing. If you're coming back up the stair steps, there's a buggy line that you don't get to do if you're going down.
Why not?
It's hard. I don't know. It's hard to get over that way.
It's a hard drop.
It's a big drop. I mean, it's as big of a drop as your vehicle is long, pretty much.
Yeah.
And so yeah, that one you can go down and just don't roll. I hate you. But the stair steps are a lot of fun. There's a lot of options there for going down, going back up it, playing around there in that little play area. There's an easy line through it as well. So you skip the part that we're talking about, the drop of the first ledge. You can skip that and kind of go up. There's a big granite face. You can just kind of stroll up and not have many issues at all. So there are easy lines to get up through there.
Okay.
So
nice.
Yep.
Yeah, and the creeks that we're talking about, I mean, I think the first one has a bridge over the creek.
Mm-hmm.
The second creek they're not big. It's not like a Fordyce Creek.
No, it's not. It's not really like even running water. It's almost like stagnant water.
Kind of, yeah. It's like a ditch.
Yeah.
In a way.
Mm-hmm.
It's not it's a creek, but it's not anything.
No.
So
nothing to worry about.
Yeah, nothing to worry about.
You don't need a snorkel.
No.
There's no concern of having to hold your ECU out your window.
No, you could fit through it with the 29s and a Gladiator. Piece of cake.
Yeah. So there's that creek crossing there. From there, it's just kind of mellow for a while. It's a nice jaunt. There's a couple fun spots that you have to pay attention at. And the next kind of fun area, in my opinion, is the big camping area next to the creek beds and the big granite slabs. Yeah, the big creek area.
Which it's not quite halfway.
No, not quite. Yeah.
But it's an absolute gorgeous spot.
It's really cool. It's really cool.
It is. It's probably the spot that is first taken for camping on that trail.
100%. Yeah.
It's
people come back for camping at Slick Rock there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're going to camp on it, that's the spot you want to get to. And you have to get there early to grab it.
Yep.
And you're probably going to have visitors.
Yep.
All week.
Yep. So that spot there's that main group spot right on the river on the trail side of the creek. There are a couple spots you can cross the creek and go over onto the slabs out across there.
Are you supposed to go over there?
I've never heard a definitive answer on that. You're not really damaging anything as long as you're not like leaking fluids in the creek. And you're good about your fluid maintenance. You're on nothing but granite the entire time. So you're not damaging anything by going over there.
Sure.
There's just also not a whole lot of shade over there.
Got it.
It's just open bare granite.
But it doesn't necessarily have, let me back up. Because that's breaking the Rubicon rule of not going too far off the center of the trail.
Yeah.
But this is a completely different trail. So.
It is a different trail. And I'm not sure what how far off center line the rules are on Slick Rock. And also on the Rubicon, there's a lot of vegetation and forest around the trail.
True.
The spots that are fully granite kind of has a maze through it, kind of like the Bowl Indian Trail. And I would kind of say that this is similar, right? Okay. There's not really any vegetation. But also if a ranger comes up on you, you might get a ticket if you're out there. Cause I just don't know what the rules are for Slick Rock.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. So camp on the other side of the creek at your own risk.
Yep. From there's the actual kind of part of the trail that is what it's named after. You start approaching the Slick Rock part, I believe.
Yeah. Okay. And what is the Slick Rock?
It's this giant, just granite face that goes a steady climb upwards for 500-600 feet.
Yeah, for a ways.
It's a ways.
I was going to say at least 100 yards, so that's 300.
Yeah. And at the bottom of it is this little FU ledge that always messes people up.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't think it was that bad.
And for some reason, people, if they try and take it either like in the middle or slightly left of center, because it's a fairly steep drop. It's about over half your tire on the right side, the passenger side. So most people take it middle, slightly left of middle, or people will try and go far driver and almost get up into the vegetation to get up around. Sure. It's a ramp right there more than it is a ledge.
So is it a ledge and that's what's slippery? That's what the Slick Rock is?
No, Slick Rock is just typically, I've never understood why it's called Slick Rock because usually Slick Rock has pretty decent traction on it.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they call it Slick Rock for when you're hiking around in the rain. It gets slick in the water.
I could see that ledge or that ramp that we're getting to and talking about being, I don't know, being slippery during a rainy time. But with my experience out on the Bowl and Rubicon it's almost grippier in the rain because all the dust gets cleaned off and your tires are clean. And you get more grip on the rock.
Yeah.
So I'm not 100% sure why it's called Slick Rock.
I don't either. I've never understood that. But
Nick, call in and let us know.
Yeah, let us know.
I know that's his favorite trail too.
Yeah. So there is a little, if you're paying close attention, there's a little ledge almost within the ledge on the passenger side.
Okay.
And so if you're coming up to that ledge at the bottom of the Slick Rock face, if you can catch your passenger side right on this thing, it's about 6 inches wide. You walk right up that ledge instead of sitting there spinning and struggling.
Got it. Okay.
So far left or far passenger.
Right. And then it's just a steady climb a few hundred feet up into the mountains there.
Yeah. I have
this rocky, it's almost smooth. It's like just a ramp going up the hill.
Remind me to get you the picture. I have an awesome picture of a Mad Hatter's Club run where we took the group photo on that face.
Oh, cool.
With the rigs lined up. So we've got 10, 12 vehicles lined up coming down that face.
Cool. Okay.
And it's a really cool picture.
Sweet.
So I might be able to put that as the thumbnail image. But that's what the trail's named after is out there.
That obstacle.
And fun fact about this trail used to be paved with blacktop.
What?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yep. And so every once in a while, if you're paying attention, you can see remnants of blacktop still on the trail.
Wow.
And so there at that face, We go up, just straight up the face, right? The blacktop goes around to the passenger side and kind of works its way up and connects back into the trail up at the dead tree on top.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you're coming up there, right at that ledge at the bottom, just at that ledge is a giant vehicle-sized rock on your passenger side. Just on the other side of that rock is where the blacktop kind of starts and works its way around.
Cool.
Yeah.
Like the Rubicon used to be cobblestoned the entire route.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So I'm not sure what the history of Slick Rock is. I'm sure it's some sort of gold mining access because like it goes from Highway 4 and then it loops out and then back around to Highway 4.
Right.
So I'm not sure what would have been the point to have Slick Rock there paved.
They wanted to get to Utica.
Maybe it was the access route to Utica Reservoir in Spicer. Yeah. I don't know. But yeah, you can see blacktop remnants throughout the trail.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
There's a couple fun ledges to climb, some hairpin turns to climb. There's a couple V-notch sections, which are fun.
Yeah, some of them are sketchy.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, I remember doing one or two of those being like, I don't like this.
Yeah.
You're leaned way over.
Yep, leaned way over, and there's like sharp rocks on the passenger side. So you're like, I don't want to like get too far on the driver's side because then that'll roll me over. But you just kind of have to put your tires on the sharper rocks and hope you don't puncture one.
Yeah.
Yep. But that's fun. The V-notch is there. And eventually you kind of wind through the trees a little bit and you pop out at the gauntlet.
Yes. And then now's where the fun starts.
This is where the fun begins. Yeah. The gauntlet is a reroute.
Yeah.
So the original trail used to go from that point on up to Lake Alpine. And it went through private property right there. And the previous owners used to be totally cool with the rigs and vehicles coming through the property to get up to Lake Alpine. Never had an issue with it. And then they sold the property and the new owners did not like it at all. So they complained with the Forest Service and I don't know if there was actually an easement or anything with it or if it was just like, yeah, we don't care if people come through here. So we'll let people come through here. The new owners either deleted the easement or they just blocked it off and said, we're not letting people come on our property anymore.
No.
It's my toys. Stay out of my sandbox. Which they have every right to. They're private property owners. So the Forest Service had to reroute the whole trail from that point on, like the last quarter, 25% of the trail, something like that.
Yeah. Doesn't it meet up with itself again though?
Not really. It comes out back at the parking lot for Lake Alpine in a different spot, I believe, from where it used to. I
thought it was just sort of it was a C one way and a C the other way, and they ended up meeting in the middle.
I don't think they meet back up. They meet back at the Lake Alpine parking lot, but I think it's in a different spot.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, the gauntlet, the reroute, which wasn't too bad a few years ago, but has been getting worse and worse and worse and more dug out and bigger rocks and just all things getting exposed.
Yep.
And some bigger and bigger off-road rigs are going through there.
Yep.
And making that section very difficult.
Very, very difficult. It's getting really dug out. I drag my diffs on 40s. When I was on the 40s and Toyota diffs, the 8-inch diffs,
dang,
I was dragging diffs in there.
Yeah.
So it's rough. You got to be very careful with your line choices in order to not drag diffs. Like the upper section has this spot. It's really narrow. And if you go through it, you're going to hang up both of your diffs. It's like the only way through there is to either winch yourself and drag your diffs over these rocks, or you have to climb this 3-4 foot tall rock on the driver's side.
Wow.
And put your passenger on the diff rocks. Right. On the other side. And it just puts you at some funky angles and you're like, man, I don't know about this. And you come off of your line by 2 to 3 inches and you're just going to smash down your diffs on your axle tubes on those rocks. It's a pretty sketch spot.
Yeah, for sure.
The bottom though is interesting. It's gotten really dug out as well. And it's on a hillside.
Yeah.
So there's a very high risk of rolling your vehicle there. The Hannahs did it.
Oh, really?
Eric and Dolly rolled the vehicle there.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
The 4Runner?
I don't remember if it was the 4Runner or it had to have been the 4Runner.
Yeah.
So yeah, they rolled a vehicle. It was in the past couple of years too.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So they rolled a vehicle there. I've known a couple other people to roll there. I've watched a vehicle come damn close to rolling there. And I've watched vehicles. There's a really tight hairpin climb turn with some FU rocks in the middle. That's another really difficult section part of it. And I've watched people rip steering boxes off of their frames right there. I've watched people rip not track bars, anti-wrap bars off their axles there. Like that's a tough little spot too.
Yeah. Well, so let's start at the bottom.
Yeah.
Going up, you're pretty much next to a rock cliff wall.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the trail, and then you've got a hillside, right?
Yeah.
And it's just big boulders, rocks, and dirt.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's sort of like some ledges to climb near the top. Well, near the top of the bottom section.
Yeah.
And then once you get over those ledges, you get near the top, the trail turns 90 degrees more or less to the driver.
Yep.
And then the big boulders start.
Mm-hmm.
And you've got to find your way through the big boulders. There's kind of like two ways to go.
Yeah.
There's like a buggy line,
Uh-huh.
and then there's the normal line, which is still extremely difficult.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's different styles of wheeling, different level, like options of wheeling, from an uphill climb with ledges to still climbing a little bit, but big boulder rocks and navigating through a rock garden.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the top of the trail is, so I kind of like to split in three sections, right? You got the bottom hill climb section, which is a really tight, narrow, some big holes in it. And then there's the middle section, which just has these big boulders. They're range from refrigerator size to oven size, boulders in the middle. You kind of got to work your way through. And then the upper section is those diff rocks. And so like the upper section used to have rocks all around that you could throw in the holes to get your diffs up and over the rocks, right? There's no more rocks up there.
They're all down the hill.
They're all down the hill. And so that's how the big boulders in the middle section got there. When they first opened that reroute, I went up there and the lower section was just bowling ball to grapefruit sized rocks. And they moved around under you. There was no solid thing to grab onto. And then all those kind of end up way down at the bottom, and holes started appearing from people digging out in the climb. All the rocks in the middle were not there. They were all up top. And then throughout the years, all those big refrigerator sized boulders are now in that middle section, and there's nothing left up top.
Yeah.
And so the top is really just, you're winching through, or you're on some really sketchy ass line, or you can there is a bypass that has started up the kind of granite face to the left of the middle section.
Okay.
And you can bypass that top section.
Got it.
So I do know a lot of people that do that. But I'm like, I like this really weird, funky angle to be on.
Well, it'd be interesting to try it with your new axles.
Yeah. The new axle and really the new suspension.
Yeah.
Cause having to climb that rock on the driver's side, lifted a tire each time, lifted my rear driver tire. And I would just kind of have to push through it until I came off the other side and got my rear tire on that rock.
Yeah.
With the new suspension, I don't think I would lift. I think I would stay a lot more stable.
Interesting. Yeah. But I also think that you're so much wider.
I don't know if I'll be able to get my passenger side on the diff rocks.
Right.
Yeah.
That'll be interesting.
That's a good question.
Yeah. So once you're up the gauntlet though, I mean, it's almost easy peasy out.
For the most part.
It
could be easy peasy if you want it to be.
It could be. I do remember there is an off camber section rock.
Yep.
At near the top of the gauntlet, if I recall.
I don't remember.
A little bit further.
I don't remember if it's before or after the rock pile. I think it goes
before the rock pile.
It is before the rock pile? Okay. So
I know there's one right at the top of the rock pile too.
Yeah.
But I didn't have to go through it because I went up a funky way in the rock pile.
Yeah.
The rock pile is fun though, because pretty much after the gauntlet, there's like a few obstacles, nothing major.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get to the rock pile. And the rock pile is kind of a choose your own adventure.
Yeah.
Do you want to go this way, go up a ledge, go through this little rock V? Do you want to take a piece of cake out and eat it while you drive up if you're on the going hard passenger?
Yep.
It's really a lot of fun choosing your own thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. The rock pile, it's a fun place to just stop and play for a little bit.
Yeah.
From buggies to mild vehicles, there's something for you to do in the rock pile and have some fun with. So that's a lot of fun in the rock pile. There is a bypass to the rock pile, so you don't have to do the rock pile if you don't want to. And it's just a dirt trail going around it.
Yeah, just looping around it. But on that dirt trail at the top is where the off-camber section, there's another off-camber section to get out.
Gotcha. Okay. Yep.
If I remember correctly. I'm pretty sure it's right there.
Okay. I don't know if I've ever done the bypass going that direction before. I think I always go down the rock pile.
Yeah, I've always done the rock pile.
Yeah. Yeah, so there's that. And then there's one more little rock section that has a really tight 90-degree turn with kind of an off camber spot. And like in order to do the turn, you kind of have to go up this V notch and then come out the V notch and make this tight 90-degree turn with an off camber. And that one's fun. You just kind of have to be really careful and you really have to cut the turn more than you really want to. But in order to make the turn, that's what you got to do. And it ends up putting you in a weird position.
Interesting. I don't remember that at all.
Yeah. That one's a fun little spot too, that I usually end up having to spot people through. And then after that, you're pretty much at the lake.
Yeah.
At Lake Alpine.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's it's like a dirt road from more or less the rocky playground minus this obstacle that you're talking about that I don't really recall. But it's kind of a dirt road around Lake Alpine, back out to Highway 4.
Yep.
And at this point, you're at Ebbets Pass. You're almost at the top of it.
Yep.
And the one time that I've done these trails, we didn't even air up. We just stayed aired down, drove down Ebbets Pass to the staging area for Deer Valley.
Okay. If you're going slow, which you kind of have to going down that anyways, it's a single lane, super windy and really steep.
Yeah.
So in my first gen 4Runner, I had to put it in 4 low to get up Ebbets Pass from Deer Valley.
Wow.
Yeah. I couldn't do it with just the transmission.
Interesting. Yeah. I don't think it was ideal to stay aired down just because the cornering and it was hard to turn. It was hard on your tires, but it's so short of distance.
Yeah.
Like by the time we would have aired up, we might have been at the start of Deer Valley.
Yeah.
Which isn't true. I mean, it was a longer drive than that, but it wasn't very far mileage wise.
No,
at all.
It's not. And the big thing, and rigs can make it down there just fine. The big concern is if you want to take a tow rig.
Yes.
Be very careful on that road. Any oncoming traffic and you're going to have a hard time.
You would need a car in front of you stopping people from going around corners, because if you are trailering and you're taking one of these U-turn corners and another car comes and there's a car behind you, you're stuck. They're going to have to back up.
Yep.
Which isn't always fun, but I would have a what do you want to call it? A scout
vehicle, scout vehicle.
Yeah, a scout or somebody ahead of you to make sure people would stop so you can come around the corner.
Yeah, definitely. If you're towing, make sure you got somebody in front of you doing that. It is definitely doable. If you've got like a really long, like 2 vehicle trailer, I wouldn't take that.
I wouldn't
down that road.
No,
I think 20, maybe 24 feet is pushing it on a trailer size. Anything more than that, I wouldn't take it down that road.
Absolutely not.
But you get down to the bottom and there's a really cool campground there called Hermit Valley Campground.
Yeah.
It's big. It's a big campground. Yeah. And it's right off the highway. There's bathrooms there. And there's fire pits. It's a nice campground, nice spot. There's lots of shade.
I tried to kill you, but you didn't die with a high lift.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's right. This is where you did that, asshole. Jimmy was, demonstrating somebody why he doesn't like high lifts while I was under the vehicle.
Yep.
So what did you do, Jimmy? How did you demonstrate this?
Well, we lifted the vehicle up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was still on its tires.
It was still on the tires.
It was all the tires were on and all the tires were still on the ground, but I made the suspension lift up and I showed him that like you can just let the handle go and it'll like do its little ding, 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 ding and ratchet itself down and fall out. And Tyler's under the rig and he got scared.
I shit myself. I wore my brown pants that day. So.
And I was like, nothing was going to happen to you. It's on the tires. It wasn't even off the ground. It just set itself back down and leveled the truck out.
I know.
But Tyler was like, oh, God.
Pretty much. That's
crying,
exactly what I sounded like.
Fell in the fetal position under a tree, shaking.
I needed an otter pop to get back to reality.
Yeah. With vodka in it.
Yes. But what's really cool about Hermit Valley is Hermit Valley Campground is the trailhead.
Yes.
For Deer Valley Trail.
Yep.
The trail leaves from the campground, kind of the back of the campground a little bit. And there's a gatekeeper.
Yeah.
To Deer Valley.
A little bit of one, but there is.
It's a little bit. I wouldn't say the gatekeeper is.
It's not the hardest obstacle on the trail.
Not the hardest obstacle, but it's not an easy obstacle by any means either.
I didn't think it was that bad, but other people in the group had problems.
Yeah. So if you know
as long
how to
as you don't roll.
Yeah, that's the trick to this obstacle. Just don't roll the vehicle and you're good.
It's an off-camber rock ledge.
Yeah. And if you're good at going kind of slow and knowing where your tires go and how your suspension unloads, no problem. If you're not used to that and you're not good at throttle control, you can have a big problem there.
Yeah.
So I see a lot of Jeeps struggle through that because they're not geared enough to keep the suspension from unloading.
Lee Lim would have rolled there.
Yes, he would have absolutely rolled there.
That is the exact obstacle that he rolled on.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Except he had a big hole on the bottom side. So it
just kept going.
Put him on his lid.
Yeah.
But it's almost identical, like design of an obstacle is where we were on Behind the Rocks.
Gotcha.
It was just a rocky ledge that you kind of is at an angle and he either blurped the throttle and or slid off something at the exact wrong time to throw him onto two wheels.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And that's exactly what this is.
Yep.
Where I drove right where Lee went.
Yeah.
Just a few inches higher. And I'm a little skinnier and I had no problems.
Yeah. You're not also as top heavy. So
I'm just more skilled.
You're more skilled. Yes. Sure.
And I knew if I was going to roll, I'd just land on his rig.
There you go.
I'd hit his wheels,
bounce
and
back.
then drive off.
Nice. Yeah, so it's the gatekeeper. It's an off-camber ledge. So you just got to be careful about where your tire placement is and your suspension unloading. Once you get past there, all the action of Deer Valley is really in like the first half mile as you're coming this direction. So you're kind of going uphill.
Yep.
Up this valley wall, and it's just a climb with loose rock and some obstacles, some different options as you're going up. But that's a really fun mile section of trail.
It is. Yeah. I remember there being just a lot of loose dirt, loose dirt and then rocks. And so really what you're looking for is like, where's the next rock so I can get some grip?
Yes.
And then there was a few spots that there was a bunch of rocks and there was some obstacles that you had to figure out how to get around and through. I do remember there was like an optional obstacle hard line. And it wasn't that difficult.
No.
You know, it was like this V ledge or V that you had to drive up and into. And the suspension wasn't an issue that I just drove through it. Yeah. But if you were smaller than Bobcat, I could see how people would have problems. Yeah.
It's really, if you have 35s or smaller, there's a good chance you're going to get high centered at some point on that stretch. There's just some big boulders in there that you just kind of need ground clearance to get through. Lockers help a ton going up that section because like Jimmy said, it's all just loose. So you never really can find good traction until one of the tires finds it. And if you're open, that's the only tire that's not going to move anymore.
Right.
So it's a game of finding the traction and having the ground clearance to get through that first mile of the trail, 3/4 mile, whatever it is. But you're rewarded by coming out at the top, and having fairly easy jaunt for the rest of the trail with some amazing views.
Yes. It's very picturesque.
Yes.
There's a lot of really pretty meadows.
Mm-hmm.
There's a few creek crossings.
Mm-hmm.
There's a one or two other obstacles along the way and some other climbs.
Mm-hmm.
But I wouldn't say it's very like, you can't see out into the distance that much because you're always in the forest.
Yeah.
There's always trees around.
Mm-hmm.
But every once in a while you come down in a little valley and you're just like jaw dropped by how beautiful this little valley is, and the meadow and a creek running through it. And, you look back at the forests and it's just absolutely gorgeous out there.
Yeah, it is. Another trail. It's not super long.
Nope.
But it's one of our higher elevation trails in the Sierras. It's 8,000 feet, I believe.
Oh, wow.
Close to 8,000. So a little bit higher than Barrett Lake. So typically Deer Valley takes a little longer to open up. It's a fun trail. It's not a long trail.
Nope.
You can do it in a day easily, in an afternoon if you wanted to. But it offers some spots where you got to pay attention, and it offers some amazing camping spots.
Yes.
One of my favorite camping spots in the Sierras is at the Second Creek crossing. There's kind of a big group spot right on the creek in the meadow.
Okay.
The downside to Deer Valley is that there's some really big deer flies.
Yeah.
And deer flies, they if they land on you and start biting you, they don't let go. You have to like get into a fist fight with them to get them off of you. you like smack them
fast.
They're fast. I mean,
they just wham.
Dude,
they're out of there.
They sit there and you can feel them gnawing on you.
Yeah.
And you go and like smack them like a mosquito, and they just sit there and keep gnawing on you. Like there's like, that tickled. And
right.
You like have to like scrape them off of you or peel them off of you. But that's why the Secretary will not go back to Deer Valley anymore, because of the deer flies.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I could see that. Both of these trails are definitely doable in a day.
You could do both of them. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It would be a long day, especially getting back to wherever you're going.
Yeah.
But they're definitely doable in the day. But let's see. So after you crest the big climb near the start in the first mile or so, it's sort of relaxing, but you're working your way down and you come to another creek, or you come to a creek. There's some great spots there. That's where we had lunch when we did it. There's phenomenal parking around the creek.
A great lounging swim spot.
Just, it's a cool little spot out there. And then there's a little, if I recall, there's a little bit of a climb out of there.
There's a little climb. There's a section of maybe half a mile, quarter mile of a mixture of obstacles. There's a V-notch option. There's just a tight boulder field option. And between there and the second river crossing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the second river crossing gets deep.
It does.
It can get deep for sure. So you I would either know where to go or pay attention to how deep it's getting.
Yep.
They're definitely, it's the bigger of the two river crossings. It's a good cross for sure. After that, you're kind of driving along the river for a little bit, but it's also kind of on a cliff side or like a steep hillside at some points with some obstacles that are leaning you off camber towards the downhill of the mountain.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, there's a couple of those. That section's really cool because there's a bunch of waterfalls along that section too. So as you're going, you can just kind of take your time, meander up those little sections, those little obstacles, and look out over the ledge at the waterfalls. There's a couple of camping spots along there too that you can kind of pull off, and they're not really bigger than to allow like 2 vehicles at a time.
Okay.
But you can set up camp there and kind of have this overlook of these waterfalls on that section too, if you wanted to camp there for the weekend. That's another really cool spot. But yeah, that's kind of the exit though. You're exiting the trail and you're ending at Blue Lakes.
Yep.
Which is over off Highway 88. So you've traversed and kind of gone up the canyon, the ridge from down at Hermit Valley, up, and now you're getting to the top of the ridge, and now you're ending at about 8,000 feet up at Blue Lakes.
Yeah.
And then What I like to do, and this is the way I prefer to run Slick Rock and Deer Valley for a weekend. I will start at Spicer Reservoir on, say, Friday night.
Okay.
And go all the way up to Blue Lakes on Friday morning. So you start Friday morning, go all the way up to Blue Lakes, end at the Lost Camps or Lost Lakes.
Okay.
Which is even higher. It's right up on one of the passes for the PCT.
Right.
And so you go up to Lost Lakes and you can camp there your Friday night. And it's absolutely gorgeous there. You arrive, typically that drive will put you there evening sunset time. So you can watch a sunset there. And what's really neat about Lost Lakes, especially early in the season, is that it looks like an infinity pool at the pass.
I could see
so
that.
You're just looking out over this infinity pool to nothing.
Yeah.
And it's really rad to have the sunset there over the lake, this infinity pool lake.
Sure.
And it's out on a peninsula. The camping spot, the good one, is out on a peninsula in the middle of this lake. So it's a really, really cool camping spot. My favorite camping spot in the Sierras. And you stay there Friday night and then pack up Saturday morning, have a leisure morning, and head back down Deer Valley into Slick Rock and camp at the Granite Creek area in Slick Rock.
Oh,
Saturday night.
Okay. So you're doing the trail backwards from the way we explained it.
Exactly. Now you're doing the trail backwards. So you get to see a different perspective of the trail. You're coming down the gauntlet. You're going up the stair steps.
Yep.
And you get to camp there. That'll typically, if you start at 10, 11 a.m. from Blue Lakes, you can typically get to your camp spot right before dinner. 5, 6 p.m. ish.
Okay.
And so you can set up camp there, hang out for the evening, and then Sunday nets you a really late morning if you want. For me, just because I'm driving back to Sacramento. But you can get up and meander around, and around 10, 11 a.m., pack up and be off trail by noon, 1 p.m.
Yeah. Not long at all.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's a good spot.
That's how I like to run those trails. And definitely Lost Lakes. And if you want to spend a whole day at Lost Lakes, you can go up and touch nipples. So why are you looking at me like that?
I don't know what you're talking about.
There's a couple of mountains within hiking distance of Lost Lakes called the Nipple.
Oh.
And so there's I want to say there's 2 of them. So you can go up.
Usually there's 2 nipples.
There's usually are.
Unless you're like a cow.
Yeah. Or cat.
Yeah. Or dog.
Yeah. Or
any other animal than humans.
Pretty much. So yeah, there's a couple mountains up there called the Nipples. You can go up and touch the nipples.
Isn't there something up at Lost Lakes that we still need to retrieve?
There is, yes. We know exactly where it is right now too.
Yeah.
We still haven't been back since we tried to retrieve it the first time.
4 years ago.
I know. I wonder if it's still there.
Oh, it's gotta be.
Has to be.
I want to find it, and we got to. Whenever we do this wall, we need to put a shelf with it on there, covered in dirt. Cool. Still.
Yeah. We do need to go back up and get those. Otherwise, they're kind of trash up there.
Yeah.
So.
They're buried.
They are buried. Yeah. So, yeah, we need to go up and find those. We should do that this year as a day trip.
Okay.
So
down.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
Cool. But that's kind of Slick Rock and Deer Valley. 2 awesome short little trails. You can do both of them in a day. You can do one in a day. You can go up Slick Rock and go from Utica to Lake Alpine, then back down. You can drive up to Lake Alpine and come down and go back up. There's, it's a loop trail for the most part. I mean, it's
Slick Rock.
Slick Rock is, yes. Yeah. Because you're ending back at the same highway. But Deer Valley is a one-way through.
Mm-hmm.
So, plan out your logistics accordingly for that one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Cool. Well, that's a good wrap on those. I think they're fun trails.
Mm-hmm.
They're not extremely difficult, but the gauntlet is.
Yes.
So just either go with people that know what they're doing or go with rigs that can pull you up that obstacle.
Mm-hmm.
There's no bypass on it.
No, not yet.
But Deer Valley, we talked about rating Slick Rock.
Mm-hmm.
So I would throw Deer Valley at like a 4.
I would say it's slightly under.
Really?
Yeah, I would. Well, not slightly. I would put it at 4 or 5.
Yeah,
I would agree. Slightly under Slick Rock.
Mm-hmm.
It's harder. It's a much harder trail going up it than coming down it. Coming down it, it's all fairly easy.
Sure.
It doesn't take a whole lot of effort. You just kind of let gravity take you. You just have to make sure you can either have good gears or good brakes.
Yeah. Don't plow into a rock.
Yeah. Going up it is much more difficult. Like you kind of need 35s, lockers, and a winch for safety if you want to go up it, just because that first mile is super loose, steep stuff. Coming down it though, you can come down on 33s, 31s, open, and not have too many issues. You're going to might bang up your sliders, a quarter panel or something coming down, but you make it without too much struggle at all.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Cool.
Good stuff, man. We're going to continue. We got a list of other trails that we're going to keep going on with on following Mondays to kind of kick off the summer here. And then hopefully you guys are enjoying this series. And for the locals in the area, hopefully you guys are enjoying it because you can kind of relive the trails and kind of picture where the spots are that we're talking about and the highlights that we like about these things. And maybe you guys have different highlights, in which case call in. I'm expecting a call from Nick about Slick Rock.
Yeah.
I'd love to
give
hear
us
his
some
perspective
corrections or more history for sure.
Yeah. History or what his favorite spots. Cause that is his favorite trail.
It is. Yeah.
So I'd like to know what makes that trail so special to him. And then, we'll continue on with some other trails. And for people not in the area and you end up finding yourself in the Northern California area to do some wheeling, hopefully this kind of helps you choose where you want to go and what you want to do.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you want to get a hold of Tyler or I, you can hit us up on Instagram. Tyler's at 4x4 Toyota Tyler. I'm over at SnailTrail4x4. You can always email us, Jimmy or Tyler at SnailTrail4x4.com, or you can phone in and give us some corrections about what we may have missed on this episode or highlights of Deer Valley or Slick Rock that you enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
And you can do that over at area code 916-345-4744.
I like it. That's some good stuff right there. So you guys know what to do. Check us out. Be in touch with us. We love interacting with everybody out there. And with that being said, pay attention to Tool Month. Interact with Tool Month. There's a lot of really cool stuff coming up, including a mag drill, which I'm pretty jealous of. I might offer to buy that off whoever wins it. We'll see. So Jimmy, any final words for everybody out there?
If you want to continue the trail from 89 or 88, you just jump on Strawberry.
Yep.
Pass over there, and then that connects you over to 50.
Yep. What is it? The Forticon Straw Deer Rock?
Yeah, something
trip?
like that.
Forticon Straw Deer Rock trip. We still got to do that someday.
I want to.
All right. With that, my friends, keep crawling.
I got one for you.
Do you?
I do.
Okay.
I thought my new strategy was going to help me succeed at the playground hopscotch, but I still couldn't finish it.
The hopscotch game?
The hopscotch game, yeah.
Is that it?
I guess I got to go back to square one.
Oh, okay. I'm like, is that the whole joke? I don't get it.
Nope, not all of it.